See how people look forward to the weekend. By Friday, everybody's excited, everybody is happy, and you hear things like, thank God it's Friday, and so people say, Friday. The reason is simple. People are looking forward to the weekend to relax, unwind, and get a breather so that they can look forward to a new week. But the weekend comes and then you get into the grind of things. You get so busy. And by Sunday evening, you are telling yourself, God, it's already Monday. You're hating Monday. Why? It's not Monday's fault. You didn't take your time to relax. My name is Patience Eloi Abba. I am not alone. I am with this beautiful, gorgeous sister of mine, Thelma.
Hi. Always nice to be with you, Patience. A fantastic duo, a great team, and together we expect that you guys will stay glued to Weekend Deal. It promises to be entertaining, informative, enlightening.
Like I said earlier, we are taking a look at the transportation industry. I mean, this business is coming up now, but it is not business as usual. The transport business, will it remain like before, or we are going to be seeing a lot of changes? Let me give you a hint. Our special guest is in the house. You're not meeting him now, but we're excited. He came early and on time, a very disciplined Nigerian. I'm excited. But before we introduce him, let's take a look at our backgrounder that will open us to the discussion of today. Let's learn together.
Whether we like it or not, there's certainly going to be a new normal, and a lot of things will change as regards the way we work and carry out business activities across the world. One sector greatly affected by the pandemic is the transportation sector.
This season is really affect our business. More than 3 months ago, we are not doing anything because everybody is fear this problem, this COVID-19. Then secondly, the federal government put embargo. We should not go anywhere. We should not carry passenger. We obey the law.
I was talking with somebody, I asked, and the next thing he told me, I called somebody on the phone, and he told me he was in Lagos. I was shocked. I was like, how did you get to Lagos? First, I know he doesn't have a car, and he said, there are transport. That was how many weeks ago? About 3 weeks ago. So I said, it's transport. So I was shocked. I said, but these things are there. So, you see, one thing is for you to make laws or whatever. The other thing is for you to enforce them.
According to research, about 50% of all trips in Lagos are made by public transport. For instance, BRT, lag bus, semi-formal minibuses, federal mass transit transport, and the list goes on. While in Abuja, about 55% of trips are by public transport and shared taxi. What has been the compliance level to the precautionary measures issued by the government?
Some people they are obeying, some people they are not doing it. That is true matter there. Some people you can see, like I assume I was coming. We enter 2 for back, 1 for front. But we are seeing some people on the road, pick and drop, pick and drop. You can see the 3, 4. But some people they are wearing masks. Some people they are not wearing.
On my way here now, my way driving here right now, we saw a coaster bus that was driving beside me. It was filled up. It was a passenger bus. The only thing I can notice there, I noticed 2 people from inside the coaster bus wearing face masks. One of them was even putting it just below. It was only one. The coastal bus was filled up.
Though COVID-19 pandemic has negatively dislocated and shut down the transportation sector, how are they preparing for the easing of the lockdown?
If you talk in terms of ticketing, for example, if you go to the Abuja Idu railway station, for instance, you see crowds of people gathering, trying to get tickets. So the railway corporation will think about that, what to do about that, how people will not come gather in the process of trying to get a ticket, maybe probably getting it online. You are in your house, you can get your ticket. So all you need to do is just walk to the train, go to the train station at your time and get into the train.
If you enter through my gate now, you can see almost about 2 places. We put sanitizer, washing hand.
The importance of the sector as the gateway to the economy of nations cannot be overemphasized because transportation is an essential service needed all over the world to move passengers, goods and services with security of life and property as its fundamental objective. Transportation and mobility are important for sustainable growth to achieve a better economy while putting health and the environment into consideration.
The arrangement that we are making here, just our vehicle should carry 5 passengers. The Dixiana and the Sharon, they will carry 5 passengers. That small car will carry 3 passengers. If we are going to Kaduna or anywhere that we are going to carry 5 passengers, at least pending how this COVID-19 will be.
Even if you have to travel, if it's necessary that you must travel, make sure you get into a vehicle that is COVID-19 compliance.
Our focus on Weekend D today will be on the new normal in the transportation sector and how prepared they are for the easing of the lockdown.
Phrase that everyone is using now very easily. It wasn't always this way, but we being Nigerians, the indomitable people that we say we are, how are we managing COVID-19 when we commute in public transportation to the extent that we maintain social and physical distancing and do the best we can to keep ourselves safe? This feature is coming from Lagos.
Majority of Lagosians commute every day through the bus rapid transport, popularly known as BRT, the yellow minibuses, popularly known as Danfo, and a fraction patronize the ferries on the waterways of Lagos.
The transport situation is very tough these days. Passengers, they are feeling very, very hard to enter motor because you do carry 2 instead of carry 4 before. So the burden is heavily on passenger. Anytime there is rain like this, like today now, nowhere to pass. My 2 really everywhere is jam-packed, no way.
But the transportation is too high this time around. They could have reduced the transport, but nobody wants to reduce the transport. And some they are even carry complete seat, but they don't want to reduce the price.
Transporters, they are creating a lot of problems in the sense that the transportation fare is too high. Despite though the number of passengers they should carry has been reduced, but despite that, that should not negate the fact that they should be merciful onto the citizenry.
Given the reduction in the number of passengers a vehicle or boat is allowed to convey in compliance with the state's executive order, which stipulates 60% of total capacity, residents in Lagos say commuters bear the brunt. Emmanuel Ojo and Akinwale Olanirun, amongst others, narrated their ordeal on the astronomical rise in the cost of transportation every day and how it has affected their living standard.
This Mushin bus we do enter before is 200 naira before, but now that because of COVID and social distancing, it's the customer that bear the brunt. So we are now paying 300 naira for tea fare instead of 200 naira.
From my side to this very place, I spent 1,200 naira. Going back, 1,200 naira at Shibiri. Thereby, I normally spend 350 come, 350 go, 700 naira. Now it's 2,400 naira every present day. The government transport even higher, more than the private transport, and they are not reducing their own price. How can they force individual to reduce their own prices?
Nobody is listening to the masses concerning the hike in the transportation fare. But the drivers, the conductors, they normally tell the passengers that, okay, this thing is 2-2. That is the reason why there's a kind of hike.
Although the level of compliance as regards 60% capacity is relatively high in some areas, it is also a common sight at some motor parks where passengers and transport operators throw caution to the wind.
We have put together a monitoring team, and that monitoring team consists of the police, it consists of LASMA, it consists of the Environmental Safety Corps, as well as the Neighborhood Watch Corps. So the combination of people working as a task force team to ensure that people practice social distancing. If I want to get a bus and the bus is already 60% full, the onus is on me to wait for the next bus. But if you insist that you want to get on that bus, then you're taking a risk.
Having identified overpopulation and lack of adequate transport facilities as some challenges militating against maintaining physical distancing, the government says it has mapped out plans to improve the transportation system in Lagos to cater for the teeming population.
The way out is to develop multimodal public transport system, which is why the rail is very important to us. And that's why we're focusing on the blue line, we're focusing on the red line, we have advertised green line. We simply have to build our rail network and then the LT network. Otherwise, congestion is going nowhere. We can't build ourselves out of congestion. Lagos is small and we're densely populated. So, and that's why we're focusing on public transport. We need to reactivate our water transport and then connect them. So once we're able to develop that public transport and make it attractive, car becomes secondary, and that's the only solution to developing and then moving Lagos forward.
As we begin to internalize the new normal, the onus is on individuals, especially commuters and transport operators, to cooperate with government by complying with the various measures put in place to curb the spread and flattening the curve of COVID-19. Be safe, act responsibly.
Indeed, we're safe and act responsibly. Like I said in the beginning, COVID-19 is real. People are complaining about the cost. But the cost is nothing if you're not alive or if you're sick. So health first and safety first. Yes, it's time for us to meet our special guest, and he is the Honorable Minister for Transport, Honorable Rotimi Amechi. Sir, you're welcome to the Weekend Day Studios.
Thank you very much. Guess why I was laughing?
Why are you laughing, sir?
Most Nigerians call me Rotimi Amechi. My name is Chibike Rotimi Amechi. Don't forget that.
Okay, Chibike is supposed to be the first name.
Rotimi is the middle name.
Okay, middle name. Okay.
But most Nigerians, just like you did now, introduce me as Rotimi Amechi.
Okay, so forgive me, Honorable Minister.
Oh, no, I'm not angry. I just wanted to just smile about it. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. So, sir, let's get straight to our chat. What is going to be the new normal in the transport industry?
Difficult question for me to answer. When they say you are an analog, to move from analog to digitalization, it's not an easy thing. I've paneled. First, the Honorable Minister of State has already come up with a framework for land transportation, which she intends to pass to NCDC and the Presidential Committee for approval. When it's approved, then we'll send it downwards to the states to comply with. But the responsibility of the Ministry of Transport is to make policies as it pertains to land transportation. The new normal in the railway for now, I suspect, when I say I suspect, because they've also not reported back, the committee looking at it, will be, first, you can't walk into any of the stations without washing your hands, without evidence of having your own private sanitizer, and then you can't walk in without a mask. You must wear a mask. There are no two ways about it. The reason for it is that even if we don't carry 80 passengers per coach, let's even say between 40. When you convey 40 passengers per coach, the normal is 80 passengers per coach.
Okay.
Some coaches are 83, some 88 sitting. Now, if you carry 80 or 88 passengers, or even 40, one person who is positive will do damage to the remaining 79. And that means that the number will spike in such a way that our health facilities cannot manage. So, aircrafts, railways are the most dangerous form of transportation that we have to manage properly. We're not in a hurry to open. Luckily, the federal government has also not instructed that the borders be open. They've also not directed us to open the railway transportation. But we believe that when that directive comes from the president through the presidential committee on COVID, then you will not step in if you've not washed your hands. Even if you don't want to wash your hands, at least you will, in our presence, apply your sanitizer in your hands. And then you will wear your mask before you get in. And that mask will not be removed. So we'll have people who are going to monitor each coach to make sure that everybody is complying with it. If you're not complying with it, we'll stop and throw you out. There are no two ways about that.
That's true. It's life, it's health.
There's been much talk about land property in Lagos that has not been utilized.
Railway, yeah.
Railway property in Lagos that has not been utilized. Where are we with that?
Well, I don't think you will say they've not been utilized. There are already structures on those lands. Don't forget that they were in existence when we were running the narrow gauge. But what we're doing now is that we're talking with a Chinese company who wants to invest about $2 billion to rebuild the entire Butemeta land into a city.
Into a city?
Into a city, full city inside Lagos. So you have water, light, road, good road with flyovers that will take you to Ikoyi, that will take you to the airport and all that. We are still negotiating that, but we've gotten an approval from the president. But we have to negotiate it. There are two forms of negotiation going on. There is negotiation between them and the NRC. And as a term to that negotiation will be the fact that Nigerians must be allowed to invest in that. We won't allow you make that investment without the presence of some Nigerians. Who they are, I don't know.
Okay. So, what about our old rail lines? Any hope of reviving them or bringing them back for use? And they are all over Nigeria. Don't you think you spend less reviving what is already on ground?
Well, like you said, the narrow gauge from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri will be revived.
Okay.
There are existing contracts that were awarded by the former government under President Goodluck Jonathan that were not executed. In fact, the record I have is that 9 billion naira was paid to one of the contractors called Lingo. Has he executed the contract? The answer is no. I don't have the details. What I have is that he's owing the ministry he's owing federal government some amount of money. So he has to refund the money. They also have to quit the site if I thought they're present. I doubt that they're present because I've visited there several times. I don't see the presence of any contractor. As soon as possible, once we're able to reconcile all these differences and recover, we may not wait to recover our money, but we will then award a new contract to rehabilitate the entire narrow gauge from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri. I don't know what cost, because we sent the documents to PPP, that I don't know what cost that it will come to at the end of the day, but certainly not more than 3.3 to 3.5, or even less than $3 billion, depending on what BPP comes up with. They've not come back to us about the cost. But the most important thing is that we rehabilitate it, pending when we get money. We'll then construct standard gauge when we get money to construct standard gauge. Okay. And we are also making efforts to recover money from those who were paid by the federal government. I think the Lingo, there was a report in the newspapers about the Lingo having been paid about $300 million. I'm looking at all the details. I'm asking. I've set up a committee to negotiate with those who actually had the contract and how to exit the exit plan. I hear that the Lingo has asked to be paid 9 billion naira, and we will not pay the 9 billion naira because in our own report, there's evidence that he's owing the government about 1 point something billion naira.
Let's talk about the Lagos Ibadan Railway. Where are we with that?
We're nearing completion before
The COVID.
before the COVID.
Okay.
In fact, our target was May. So by now we are started running Lagos to Ibadan. But unfortunately, take the Bute Metal Station. The Bute Metal Station needed about 1,000 workers
1,000 workers.
to complete it. Now we are doing 10 workers.
10 workers per hour.
No, not per hour. 10 workers per day.
Per day. Why? Okay, because of the situation.
Because of
So
COVID.
a micromanaging.
Yes, if you must work, if not, you don't. You just have to keep quiet and get out of sight. So for a day, you need 1,000 workers. But that 1,000 workers, what we are doing there now is just 10 workers per day.
So
we want to start the Kaduna section of the Lagos Kano. We're wondering how to start. We need about 10,000 workers to start. And we're thinking about how to even get 1,000 at site without COVID. Because first you have to run them tests. If you run the test, that's the question the Chinese are asking us. Okay, if you run the test and you're able to select 1,000 workers who are negative, when they close from work, what happens? They go home.
You run the test every day or what?
So where's the money? And results don't come out every day.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big challenge.
It's a huge challenge.
But talking about enforcement, you've talked now about two instances where contractors did not carry out jobs that they were paid for. What is being put in place to ensure that we don't have a recurrence of such incidents?
Any punitive measures?
Well, I know that Nigerians want to hear what I'm saying, but first, it wasn't awarded by us. The best we can do is to report the matter to EFCC, and I'm sure EFCC is aware of it. You're also aware that the European Union is investigating it because some people claim to be partners, so some of them are from Europe. The best the Minister of Transport can do is to report it, which I think we've done. The next thing we can do is to get them to exit the contract and allow people, qualified contractors, to now do the reconstruction. My worry was that those contracts were awarded to Nigerians who have no experience whatsoever in the construction of railroads. I don't just know why that happened. It's like me being awarded a contract of saving lives. I'm not a medical doctor. I have no idea what to do.
But in this case, you're a medical doctor.
You just told us some medical things. Just give us.
In this case, you're actually a medical
before the production, you told us some strong medical things here.
No, that's because I have medical doctors who are friends, and my first son is a medical doctor. So.
Okay. But I'm talking about now. You're already going to start awarding contracts now going forward.
Yeah, but from us, if you're not a qualified contractor, you will not. First, it's not even about Ministry of Transport. BPP won't let you in. Secondly, is the fact that cabinet will not let you in. So there are layers of checks.
And there are also the timeline given to your contractors.
Yes,
to say
to complete.
From here to here,
you're
supposed to have completed this amount of
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Talking about haulage, we're looking at what are you planning for the rail system to carry our haulage, our big goods, instead of these trailers on the road that are causing a lot of trouble and traumatizing Nigerians?
Over the years,
Nigerians are traumatized on the road.
You don't engage in haulage. How do you know that over the years?
I've been there for a long time, and I know what happened at Apapa.
Yes,
it's true.
Okay, no wonder your management was saying they will transfer you back to Lagos.
Did you say that?
But it's important that we make it clear that railways are not built for passengers.
Okay.
They are mostly built for cargoes.
Okay.
So when we complete Lagos to Kano, we'll be lifting about nearly 30 million tons of cargo per day.
Oh, that's good.
Per year. Now, 30 million tons of cargo per year, the picture is that nearly all the cargoes will be put on the road. Currently, we're doing 200,000 per year, which is very, very poor. And so if you have 30 million tons of cargo, and you're doing only 200,000 tons per year, it means that 29.8 million tons of cargo in a year are transported by road. That's why our roads don't last for too long. Now, when we complete Lagos to Kano, it means that we'll transfer those cargoes, at least majority of it, about 50 to 60 to 70% of those cargoes will be transferred to railways. And I think if I'm still the Minister for Transport when we complete the Lagos Kano, I'll get the cabinet or I'll get the president to approve that some categories of cargo cannot go on the road.
That will make a lot of difference.
That
is critical.
Since we have, and it's cheaper to transport by railways. It's also important to know that you can arrive your place on time.
On time. You cut down the travel
cut off
hours.
costs.
Yes.
You cut off costs. You cut
Time.
off time. You save energy. All right. We that's what we plan to do.
Okay.
Let's hope it works out.
Everything will work well and work for good. I remember the trip I made from Abuja to Kaduna via the train.
You enjoyed it?
My God.
You didn't like it?
Fantastic.
I've never been on it.
Fantastic. And I was encouraging everybody I knew
Take your husband to take you to Kaduna for
okay. He will. You're watching Weekend Deal. You know our program is interactive, so we're expecting your comments as we talk and engage and learn from and with the Honorable Minister for Transport, Chibuike Rotimi Amechi. For now, let's make a brief stop in Kano. There's more to talk there about COVID-19, staying safe and transporting as well.
Among the fundamental human rights to be enjoyed is the right to free movement and interaction. As social beings, humans gain a lot in interacting with one another. Alas, common ties and bonds bind people together to promote love within them. Today, the right to interact is in some way interrupted, but in the interest of people's health. The fear of possible dangers of COVID-19 forces individuals, agencies, and governments to adjust.
Anybody riding your tricycle must wear the face mask, which gradually people, as you know, anything that comes new, even I myself that I'm wearing this thing is worrying me, that I know the importance of wearing it. Not to talk of a common man on the street who will feel like he's starving. So gradually people are coming to understand the importance of using the face mask.
One area of adjustment believed to work a lot is maintaining physical distancing, since the virus is contagious.
For the tricycle, you are only eligible to take 2 passengers. Whereas before you see tricycle take 5 passengers, 4 at the back, sometimes overload, 2 by this side, 2 by this side. You so crazy.
In the transport sector, work needs to be done because irrespective of commuters' interest to maintain physical distancing, the driver will board the usual number for better pay.
I feel I'm assisting the commuters because most drivers do not have pass, but I have. I'm not doing it just to get money, but to assist.
Moving on the township streets, only few passengers seen complying, while many others, for combination of reasons, do not comply.
I am aware of all the rules, although I have forgotten my face mask at home. I also comply and carry the required number of passengers.
I am aware of the rules and I comply. As you can see, even now, I am carrying only 1 passenger to take him to the office.
People, you have to take it gradual with them. The level of compliance is at least, if I can say 30%, something around that. It's not something remarkable, honestly, but we are coming up. For a vehicle that has 10 seats, it's now 6, including the passenger, the driver. So that's what we are trying to regulate.
So, I mean, a lot of people are now talking about enforcement. We know that there's a new protocol in land transport. They say 1 person in front, 2 at the back. But people are flaunting this. What is being done to ensure total compliance and also interborder transport? People are moving.
No, you see, land transportation does not fall in terms of enforcement. It does not fall within the purview of the Federal Ministry of Transportation.
Okay.
that is the responsibility of the state government. So we can hardly do anything. The best you can do is put policies on ground, pass it on to the state government. There are responsibilities to enforce those policies. But I think you don't need the federal government or the state government to enforce. You need to be alive. The first thing is to let everybody know that this is real. COVID is real. People are dying and dropping dead. My friends in Port Harcourt have been dying. At least one, my friends.
Friends?
Yes, they've been dying. It's been shocking. That's why I was surprised I accepted this interview because I hardly want to leave my house. It's frightening. It's such that you don't have to wait for a third party to tell you what to do. Because you don't know, you can be asymptomatic. You don't know what the next man is carrying. So the mask, if we all wear masks, it will protect you. That's mine.
Yeah.
That's mine.
You indeed came in wearing it.
Yeah, you came in wearing it.
That's my sanitizer. So I don't infect others, and others will also infect me. So, but where we will enforce it, because that falls within the purview of this responsibility to enforce, is the railways. You will not enter into any coach without complying with our regulations. We will not allow you in. We will not even move that train unless you comply.
No one who wants to be disobedient has the right to make others vulnerable or to put their lives or their health at risk. We have a few messages here. Powers didn't tell us where it's reaching us from, but it says, "Greetings to my boss, Minister of Transportation." Say, well done, sir. Say he likes the work you have done so far, and he hopes you can continue with the pace after COVID. And it says we should not be afraid of COVID-19.
I'm not
you
afraid.
Are safe here.
I'm not afraid. I'm scared.
You are taking precautions.
Oh, he's not afraid. He's scared. I mean,
okay. Also from Oyo State, Abiola Balogun is saying that the hike in transport fares is impacting Nigerians, but it is still critical that we must maintain physical and social distance when commuting, as well as wearing a mask, whether you're in a bus or whether you're in a cab. Okay, let me just take this last one from Edo State. Okay, from Kwara State, Rashid from Kwara says the transportation sector may not succeed. That he likes the plans you are rolling out, but will not succeed to the extent that you have aspirations and hopes for if our roads, the maintenance of our roads, are not sustained. Okay.
The federal government, and the usual accusation against us is that we're trying to defend the federal government. We just didn't meet money in our coffers. It was just not there to build all the roads. Majority of the roads in Nigeria were built under Gowon's regime, and most of them have not been maintained. So you can see that the federal government, especially the Minister for Works, Babakinde Fashola, is battling to get literally every community, literally every state, is working to get us to fix, not even to construct new roads, at least fix the old ones, so that we can at least meet each other in our different states. And he's doing that. I'm sure there are a lot of roads that we're working on in Kwara. But the key for people coming from Lagos to Kwara is that once we fix the Lagos to Kano, then you don't need to go by road. All you need to do is enter the train somewhere in Lagos or somewhere in Ibadan, and you appear in Ilorin in the next 1 or 2 hours.
Okay. Which is good. And then let me take away a bit from COVID-19. The Abuja-Lagos route is very hugely popular. Like Thelma told us, she went on it and she had a nice time. But when it comes to
Abuja Kaduna,
Abuja Kaduna, sorry, it's train, especially as it concerns the crime on the road. Everybody now wants to go by the train, and then tickets became an issue. I have a lot of friends who started saying that no, true, seriously. A lot of friends who say that they go there, they don't see tickets, and then some people are touting. What are you doing to make sure that that doesn't happen?
We'll sort that out. I can tell you that for free. Now, the first thing is that, and I'd like Nigerians to listen to this. When we finish the construction and put the coaches on the train, our studies indicated that 300 passengers will use the train per day. So we bought coaches for 300 passengers per day. When the crime rate increased, the number of passengers increased to 4,000 passengers per day, sometimes 4,500. You can't wear the trouser your father bought for you when you were 17 and 40. You can't. It won't be your size anymore. It won't fit. So what we've done, and it's because of COVID, we've brought in, we now increased the coaches. We took about 2 or 3 from Itabewari, We took 2 from Lagos and we added to Kaduna, Abuja. Still did not solve the problem. We brought about 10 now, which we are ready to launch as, I don't know whether to say as soon as COVID is over, because COVID may actually not be over.
Yeah.
It may actually live with us.
You can launch online.
Exactly. So when we start, I won't say when COVID is over, when we start running Abuja Kaduna train again, we'll get the president to commission either by, what do they call it, by virtual means.
Yes.
So our passengers can begin to use it. And they are DMUs, wonderful dynamic trains. And then we can convey up to 4,000. Even if we don't make the 4,000 passengers per day sitting, we can make close to 3,000 passengers per day sitting.
Okay.
So we can have about 1,000 plus just standing.
Okay, let's talk about the Transport University in Katsina. When is that going to start, and what is it?
No, what I'm laughing is that I just would say everybody's using COVID as an excuse. You know, if you are in Lagos and your husband is in Kaduna and he calls you on the phone, your wife calls you on the phone and say, "We need money at home." You say, "I will have sent you money if not for COVID." But the truth is that we had started moving the equipment to Daura for construction when COVID break out. Anybody ran away. That's the point. We must have, see, what I tell the contractors is that, listen, are you saying that if COVID lasts for 10 years, we will not construct for 10 years? We must go to find
ways of
what you now call the new normal.
The new normal.
For now, the knowledge we have is that not a large number of persons can do these jobs.
Okay. So what would a transport university, at the end of the day, what are you trying to achieve with a transport university?
And that's what I want to claim as my own achievement. I don't want to claim rail trains and rail tracks and all that. I want to claim the fact that I sat and thought about the fact that how do we transfer this technology? The Chinese come here, dump the technology, dump the tracks and leave. We can't even construct tracks. So what that Transportation University is expected to do is to train Nigerians on the construction, building of not just tracks, civil engineering for buildings, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, to ensure that by the time the Chinese are leaving, we're able to even construct rail tracks. So that's what it's supposed to do, is to transfer knowledge and get our people trained. Now we have about 150 persons in China who are being trained in these courses for first degree. When they come back, they have to go and teach in their university.
They must impact Nigeria and our own growth and development. Onyedikachi Dioka is asking about the railway line from Komkom Railway in South. He says, is that in order? Komkom, K-O-M-K-O-M.
Let's call Komkom. I'm thinking whether is it in Cross River or Akwa Ibom, but there's a place called Komkom. I don't know about that. All I know is that for now, what we tend to do is a rail line from Bonny to Port Harcourt, and from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri, then from Port Harcourt to Were.
So where is Benue in all this? Nobody's asking about Benue.
That was next. Idoko just sent us word from Benue. So what is going to happen in Benue State? Are we being neglected? She just contacted her.
No, it shows that she's not from Benue. When you hear Port Harcourt to Maiduguri, let me help you.
Okay, please tell me.
Port Harcourt to Maiduguri is Port Harcourt to Aba, Aba to Umuahia, Umuahia to Enugu, Enugu to Makurdi.
Finally, I feel good.
Doris from Port Harcourt says, "Great to watch you live, Honorable Minister. Kudos to you for the great work you're doing. I like the way you're smiling. That's an answering question.
Yes, we have been not sincere.
You have been not so.
You have been not seriously. Okay, somebody, my producer wants to know about the railway compound in Lagos. It's such a big project.
About here.
Yeah, you stopped it.
It was a pity.
Yes, he missed it. So
I said the president has granted us approval to sell. But we thought that the way to go about it is not to just divide the place and sell to individuals. So we're in a conversation with the Chinese firm, which is actually the contractor to the rail line, CCCC. First, develop part of it for purpose of rail activities. Then the remainder, what you do with the remainder is what they're going to do with it, to turn it into a city in Lagos. So there will be residential quarters, commercial quarters, office. That's when it's a commercial, but offices and all that, including light industries. And then they will construct roads, there'll be water and all that. And then people can buy and
own
and live there. That's what we intend to do. we have huge compounds in Enugu, in Kaduna, in Kano. We're looking at what's best for the rail services and what is best for the country. I explained that earlier, so I thought
and as soon as possible, we hope that will happen. Take one last message. I just said they will start pouring in. People like your disposition. It's not, they say it's not often they see men of your ilk, your man, your position come here. They are so relaxed, and they are saying that means you really are doing what you say you are doing.
I've never seen two beautiful women before. That's why I'm relaxed.
Let's take this last message for the Honorable Minister for Transportation. He says, I commend you for the job well done. I like the chat, I like the interview, and it says they know the efforts that your ministry has put in place to make our roads motorable and therefore impact social, economic growth and let Nigeria rise to greater heights. It says, God bless you, sir.
That's done by.
I'm saying he, but he didn't tell me where this message is. I think he could be a woman for all you know, right?
That was done by Babatunde Fashola. He's responsible for road construction.
Okay.
I am responsible for sea, maritime, and then railway construction.
Okay. They are mixing up the two. Okay, but we thank you so much for making the time, Honorable Minister.
You came on time. I said in my introduction that you came on time. I think that is commendable. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister.
Why do you commend people come on time?
For being prompt.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be, but it's not. No. So when you see people doing the right thing, you are happy.
You are encouraging those who don't keep to time.
Okay. So but you have encouraged them. Yeah. Time to celebrate and highlight what you do. People will now say,
no.
If the minister can come on time, why won't I come on time?
If you say to somebody, here at 7, if he doesn't come at 7, don't take him on.
Thank you very much.
That is a
and
good
that's what
one.
my boss would say.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Minister for Transport, Chibuike Rotimi Amechi. It's been a very engaging chat. We'd love to do it again.
Yes.
I like your calm disposition. You made us relaxed and we're able to engage and the messages keep coming in. So in the course of the program, we'll continue to take the messages and make the comments. And we know that Nigerians have learned a lot from this chat. And we're going to your state.
We're going to your state.
Rivers State. Port Harcourt welcomes us. And we have our Honorable Minister there.
Your son is here.
What's happening with you regards transportation and COVID-19?
In Rivers State, the new directive insists on a maximum of 3 passengers per trip for smaller vehicles or taxis and the maintenance of 2 passengers per seat in the case of commuter buses. The boats at the waterfront are not spared in this regard, as the government prescribed the maintenance of space between the passengers in affected boats. Aside from the social distancing, it is also compulsory for all passengers to wear face masks before boarding any transportation system.
There is hand washing, and after that they give hand sanitizer.
As we came in, we wash our hands, and when we go down to wash our hands,
they are still carrying 4 persons at the back. Even the keke, they are still carrying 3 at the back.
If government could carry 5 for this keke bus, for that 50 naira, how much will we gain for a day?
How many you carry, you will pay for the park, you pay for loading, buy ticket. We'll see that we cannot meet up.
Probably everybody wants to see somebody drop dead before you find out these things now, because I already know that life is better than what they are talking about now.
Despite strict enforcement of these rules, there were reported cases of violations by many motorists, causing the government to introduce the COVID-19 bus system to replace the existing transportation and guarantee the observance of the various rules and prescribed measures.
These buses have 48-seater. There's the one that has 24-seater. But the 48-seater bus will only pick 22 passengers to maintain social distance, while the 24-seater bus will only pick 12 passengers.
Put on their face mask, and they with now sanitizer with their hand sanitizer, and they check them with our thermometer temperature. Anyone that is okay, we board inside the vehicle. Anyone that is not okay, we outside the vehicle.
The free bus is very nice. So many of us don't have money now. So with this bus now, we can go
anywhere we want to go to.
This is a good thing. We applaud the governor for it. But the major thing there is, can it be sustained?
The strict compliance of these rules by the new transport system leaves us with hopes of defeating the pandemic in Rivers State if the observance of social distancing in the transport sector is anything to be relied upon.
It's great to have you watching our program. You've been a part of it. We so thoroughly were engaged by the interaction coming from your end while we had our last guest, the Honorable Minister for Transport. We say keep the messages coming. We'll take as many as we can. For now, we go to Orca. How are they maintaining physical and social distancing even while they commute? They'll tell us.
As part of measures to contain the spread of coronavirus in Anambra State, the government issued protective measures and social distancing to slow the spread of the dreaded corona, especially in transportation sector, which involves transporting people or goods from one place to another. As the lockdown is gradually easing off, one wonders if the transporters and people within the state are obeying the NCDC guidelines on COVID-19.
What we do is that instead of 3, people sit 2. One at this age, one at that age, and recently, before you board a vehicle, you must be well kitted.
The passengers' manifest also serves as an important tool to stop the spread of the coronavirus, especially when the issue of contact tracing arises.
The idea of passengers' manifest when it comes to COVID-19 is for you to actually know is the social distancing or is being observed. If it's a vehicle that used to take 18 or 14 and is still giving you manifest today bearing that same number of people, indefinitely you have noticed that he is not even aiding the government or the company.
Weekend Deal visited some parks in Anambra State and observed that some transport companies observe the NCDC guidelines on social distancing while some did not.
Like before, we used to carry 2 when the total lockdown was going on seriously, but right now we carry 4.
Okay, the government gave the directive that we should be carrying only 2 passengers in a row. That's why we are carrying 2 passengers.
It's also affecting the commuters because we find out that the fare increase comes in. If it's where you take 100 naira, they could say 150.
Commissioner for Transportation in Anambra State, Afam Mbanefo, states government position on the issue of compliance to social distancing.
Transport organizations or parks and keke, where they're not observing this, 1, social distancing, 2, masking up yourself, 3, washing up your hand, we will seal those parks. Far from that also. We are developing so much ideas also in terms of contact tracing, which is a post-COVID measures that we've put in place. If anybody sits close to anybody who is infected or who has been infected or has been close to where someone has been infected, you will get the alert on your mobile phone.
People have been encouraged and advised to stay away from crowded places and maintain social distancing in order to curtail the spread of coronavirus.
Welcome back. Physical social distancing, sanitizing, wearing your face masks, the new normal. And we must move from point A to point B. What is the situation in Ibadan or your state? Let's go there and see it together.
Presently, situation around the world indicates that the coronavirus is a major challenge people will have to live with for now. Though all hands remain on deck to find a permanent cure for the virus. While the waiting game is on the much expected major breakthrough, it has become imperative for countries to gradually relax the lockdown rule put in place in the wake of COVID-19 outbreak. Obviously, the economy of countries is seriously feeling the heat as a result of COVID-19 pandemic. The campaign now is for people to keep to the rules of the game, majorly by observing physical distancing, washing of hands regularly, among others, just to contain further spread of the virus. Now that the people will have to move about in pursuit of their daily means of livelihood, the concern now is about the handling of transportation sector.
Of recent, you've been seeing a lot of increase in COVID-19 people who are positive and all that. Many of them you see because they are moving from one state and passing through Oyo State. And we are surrounded by about 5 states and another neighboring country close to the area of Saki and all that. So these are challenges that we are having, but I believe that we're on top of it.
It is believed that the transportation sector could be carrier of COVID-19 if not properly managed. In line with the reality of COVID-19, the government of Oyo State spelled out some guidelines for commercial transport operators.
The protocol, in line with the enforcement, we will follow to the letter. Number 1, it is mandatory that all drivers and passengers must use the nose masks while on transit. Number 2, you shouldn't carry more than the necessary passengers within the vehicle regardless of wherever you are going. And I think that protocol is also out. For the Okada riders, you not carry more than 1, and the passenger must have his or her nose mask. Number 2, for those tricycles, you shouldn't carry more than 2 behind, and the riders at the front, every one of them must have their nose masks. And number 3, for those driving Micras, we want them to understand that it should not be more than 4, the driver and then 3 other passengers with their nose masks.
Out of our curiosity, our crew moved around the city of Ibadan, the state capital, to ascertain the level of compliance by the operators. The way and manner some of the operators go about their businesses is not so encouraging.
This is my Marua.
Why did they say?
Although I carry 1 passenger for front, but as I see all those old men, I have to drop the person before I reach them.
They told us not to carry passenger in front. So how are we going to do it if we didn't do this? If they want us not to carry passenger at the front, they're supposed to tell those one collecting money from us to stop what they are doing.
It's a two-way thing. Two-way thing in the sense that we still have some who abide by it. But the fact still remains that in a place where they abide by it, they double the fare. And some of the people who show understanding, they do take it.
The agency of government saddled with the responsibility of enforcing the physical distancing in the transportation sector is not also taking things easy with those who violate the rules.
Welcome back from Oyo State, where we get to see how they are managing in spite of COVID, and they are doing their best to maintain social and physical distancing. Your health, your life is in your hands. Government at all levels are doing all that they can, but it's up to you every day as you step out from your house to make a commitment to yourself and your family. I will get back home today safe, and I will not endanger any lives I meet along the way. That's how we journey now to Kaduna. Talking about the railway line and the service. How is physical and social distancing being maintained there?
What a pleasant journey all the way from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, to the beautiful city of Kaduna. Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. All passengers should start getting ready in the next few minutes. The train will be at the final station with us. Kindly remember to take your luggage, if any.
This is the popular Rigasa train station, which before now witnessed a large turnout of passengers every day queuing up to purchase tickets without observing any social distancing. A thought that has never come to the mind of many of a novel COVID-19, bringing activities to a halt. Now that activities are picking up, Emerging new rules are on the pipeline by the authority to guide against further transmission of the virus. It is now a shadow of itself, with facilities still standing tall. Few staff seen around, hoping for activities to bounce back so as to put food on their tables. A Nigerian Railway Corporation official, through a telephone conversation, reveals to weekend deals plans are put in place to ensure safety of passengers. The ambience room of the environment speaks volume, silent, devoid of the regular horn, indicating the arrival of the train. The question on the lips of many is, when will train services resume? And the plea is for passengers to adhere strictly to safety protocols laid down. These people share their opinions on the issue.
Many things you have to change because of this current pandemic that we are. So my advice is that they have to put it on net. Everybody who is going to travel to Abuja or from Abuja to Kaduna have to go online and buy his own ticket before he start moving from home to the train station.
The train station, they should change their rules completely, and they should not allow people to join together, to talk together again.
Before the train station is open, they're supposed to make sure that all the guidelines set by the NCDC and the Federal Ministry of Health is put into place. You see, that train station is a place where a lot of people normally go, and they flow there, and the number is always high. So they need to make sure they put all the modality in place before that is done. If not, it will become a place where this virus will be transmitted, which will not usher away with even the state government.
The train station is one of the safer transportation. So I believe if only we can maintain social distance, using of face masks, washing of hands before entering the waiting points, I think it will help along. It will go a long way also.
I know many people will talk about social distance, but to me, social distance is very important. But the important is cleanliness. When the place is very clean, I think it's okay. But the social distance is very important. But to me, that cleanliness is very, very, very important.
Well, only time will tell, but the authority has put in adequate measures to ensure social distance when full operations resume.
Today has been about transportation and safety, and we are going to be keeping safe while we move from point B to point A.
It's been an exciting package, hosting the Honorable Minister for Transport, and the messages keep coming. Accolades all the way. Wow. We also had the privilege to have a chat with Pascal Unoli, who is the manager of the Abuja Kaduna train service and also the liaison officer of the Nigerian Railway Corporation. It's been a pleasure having you, sending your messages in with us. Always an interactive experience, and we hope to do it again with you tomorrow. Stay safe. My name is Thelma Albaza.
Yes, my name is Patience Eloyi Abba. Thank you for staying.